Info Plus for genuine information.
नमस्ते एभ्रिवान, स्वागत छ यहाँहरु सबैजनालाई। हामी छौं कुराकानी सेगमेन्ट इन्फो प्लस को र आज मसँग हुनुहुन्छ एन्ड्रयू ह्युवे। उहाँ अल द वे फ्रम एडलेड अस्ट्रेलिया आउनु भएको छ। उहाँ चाहिँ डाइरेक्टर हुनुहुन्छ इन्टरनेशनल मार्केटिङ एट स्टडी एडलेड। Andrew, it is a pleasure to have you at Info Plus. Thank you so much for making your time and being here with us today.
Sadusha, it is a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I hope that you're enjoying your visit this time around in your favorite South Asian country.
It is very well done. Yes, no, I think this is my 5th or 6th time that I've visited Nepal, and I've had the opportunity and privilege to tour around the country as well, which has been absolutely fantastic.
Let's begin by talking a bit more about Study Adelaide.
Sure.
Now, I'm sure a lot of the students who prefer going to Australia or who've been wanting to go to Australia have already researched and know about Study Adelaide. But to all the other students who are just beginning their study abroad career and doing their research, if you could highlight a bit about Study Adelaide, that would be great.
Study Adelaide is a government organisation that promotes Adelaide as a destination for international students. Adelaide itself is the capital city of South Australia,
Right.
which is a state in Australia. An Australian education is world class and offers an opportunity for Nepalese students to gain world class experience at an institution which will set them up for their careers into the future. In Adelaide, we need over 155,000 additional jobs to be filled to help our growing economy, and international students play a big part of that.
That's amazing. I'm sure all the students are already excited from the very first statement that you made on the job opportunities as well, because a lot of students who go or want to go to Australia for studies also look for this work opportunity that they believe would help them in their career path as well. But how exactly, if you could let us know, what are some of the support that Study Adelaide provides for international students?
Absolutely. So our 3 major institutions, which are Flinders University, the University of Adelaide and University of South Australia, have really comprehensive programs to support the students throughout their studies. What we do at Study Adelaide is complement the programs that are run at those institutions. So for example, we run over 80 events each year, from cultural celebrations through to opportunities for students to learn how to secure part-time jobs or jobs after graduation and beyond.
So it's like a comprehensive package for students, from getting to know each other, celebrate each other's culture, to also landing job opportunities that will help them in the future.
Absolutely.
Like you mentioned, Adelaide is South Australia's capital as well. Can you highlight some of the USPs of Adelaide so that our students who are watching us can get excited about maybe looking and exploring study opportunities in Adelaide?
Adelaide is a vibrant capital city that offers all the benefits of living in a large capital city, I guess without the traffic that we may potentially face here in Nepal. So for example, we're a very multicultural city, so we welcome students from over 120 countries from around the world, and international students are very much valued as part of the local community here in South Australia.
What could some of the benefits be for international students to choose Adelaide for their studies?
One of the things that I would like to point out is that we have a growing economy and we need over 155,000 additional skilled jobs to be filled over the next 5 years in order to meet the demands of our growing economy. So one of the things I'd like to highlight is just the opportunities for international students. If they are looking for opportunities after they've graduated, Adelaide certainly has the opportunities for them.
Does Study Adelaide also help students to secure these part-time jobs after or during their studies? Like how does Study Adelaide do that?
Absolutely. So we've recently introduced a program called Job Shop, and what that does is it connects leading employers in South Australia that have job opportunities and connects them directly with international students. Now, one of the great things about the Job Shop program is that the employers themselves have tailored their recruitment process to specifically cater for international students. That provides an opportunity for the students to apply for jobs even before they've landed in Adelaide to commence their studies.
Fantastic. What are some of the career opportunities, or let's say areas, that the students could expect to get a job?
So one of the employers that we work with is called Adelaide Venue Management Corporation, and they manage a range of venues across Adelaide. One of them is called the Adelaide Convention Centre. Since launching Job Shop towards the end of January this year, Adelaide Venue Management Corporation alone has employed over 250 international students in such a short time. So there are loads of opportunities within the hospitality sector, particularly in the healthcare sector as well. And again, through that Job Shop program, there's a range of different opportunities for students to secure part-time employment.
You already did briefly touch on the atmosphere of Adelaide, where you get the city vibe minus the traffic that they face in the capital here in Kathmandu. But other than that, how is the lifestyle of people who live in Adelaide, and what can the lifestyle of international students be when they land in Adelaide?
Absolutely. We talk about Adelaide as being the city designed for life. And when we talk about it being designed for life, we're talking about having a balance between work, between study, and also the opportunity to be part of the community and enjoy the various activities that Adelaide has to offer.
So South Australia as a region is growing rapidly, and there are many new exciting industries that are coming up. Would you, if you'd had to suggest the students to maybe focus on certain topics or subjects that would help them land great job opportunities after graduation, what areas would you ask them to focus on?
One of the first things that we would talk about is to ensure that you follow your passion for whatever you would like to study. However, I would say with those 155,000 jobs required over the next 5 years in Adelaide, there are some growing industry sectors where there's some opportunities. One of those particular sectors is the high technology sector. We have leading global companies such as Microsoft, Tesla, Amazon Web Services who actually have a presence in South Australia. We've recently also welcomed companies like Accenture and PwC who are looking to recruit students right now or recruit. We also have companies such as PwC and Accenture who are recruiting right now. Accenture, for example, is currently seeking more than 2,000 people to fill the roles within their Adelaide Centre. PwC is currently recruiting for around 300 roles to fill their service centre in Adelaide. So as you can imagine, there are lots of opportunities in that high technology sector.
Right, so technology is another sector that a lot of Nepali students are also really interested in, because the scope even worldwide is amazing, and all these vacancies that are just there waiting for international students is also, I think, a really good thing to everybody who's looking at our interview. तपाईहरुले पनि आज यो हाम्रो कार्यक्रम हेरिराख्नु भएको छ, विद्यार्थीहरु हुन सक्नुहुन्छ, अभिभावकहरु हुन सक्नुहुन्छ, स्टडी एडलेड को बारेमा अझ बढी जानकारी तपाईहरुले आफै पनि लिन सक्नुहुन्छ, तर हामी यो कन्भर्सेसनलाई अगाडि बढाउन चाहन्छौं. And I'd like to track back a little bit. We talked about opportunities that they can get after their study or while they're studying, but many students are also a bit skeptical and scared when it comes to the finances that they need to manage for their study in Australia. So does Study Adelaide also provide some scholarships for the students, some kind of financial aid?
That's a great question. All of our institutions, including Flinders University, the University of Adelaide, as well as the University of South Australia, all offer scholarships available for students, particularly in Nepal. The Australian government, through the Australia Awards program, also offers over 3,000 scholarships for students from more than 55 countries around the world each year as well. So again, there are lots of scholarship opportunities for students to tap into to help support their studies in Australia.
We did talk a lot about the job opportunities that Adelaide can offer right now as well, and I'm sure the number is just growing in the post-COVID scenario as well. I also feel like there is going to be, and there is definitely a huge line of students just waiting for them to get their visa or get their biometrics done. They're applying to be able to study in Australia. All these universities in South Australia or in Adelaide, would you have any idea on how are they preparing for this huge surge of international students that will come in the future?
What I can say is that the Australian government has committed resources to help address some of the challenges that international students are facing through their visa applications into Australia. The other thing I'd like to point out is that our institution partners are working really hard to support that application process, working with their education agents and other stakeholders to do whatever they can to help those students achieve their study dreams.
We talked about amazing job opportunities, we talked about scholarships and financial aids as well, and I'm sure a lot of our Nepali students who are watching this show today are very excited. Would you like to give them any particular advice, the students who are planning to study in Australia and in Adelaide?
One of the things I'd love to talk about is that an Australian education is a world-class education. So regardless of whether you choose to study in Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane or Adelaide, you're going to get a great education to prepare you for your career into the future. What I can say about Adelaide is that we offer the opportunity for students to gain that world-class education while at the same time living in an environment that is designed for life, in a community that is welcoming of international students, and one that offers career opportunities both during their studies as well as final graduation and beyond.
A last question I had was slightly out of the educational context, but StudyAdelaide's association with Shark Tank Nepal is very, very interesting. I was intrigued as well with this association. What is your expectation from the show Shark Tank Nepal? How do you want the brand StudyAdelaide to be incorporated in the show?
Absolutely. Well, it's a natural fit for StudyAdelaide to be a co-sponsor of Shark Tank Nepal. Shark Tank itself is a global phenomenon and one that is very much recognised around the world, including in Australia. The thing that we would love to get out of Shark Tank and to highlight around Adelaide is the entrepreneurial mindset within Adelaide. We have a vibrant startup ecosystem in South Australia, which is supported by billions of dollars worth of investment by the Government of South Australia as well as private industry. Two I'd like to particularly call out is the Tonsley Innovation Centre, or Tonsley Innovation District I should say, which merges institutions like TAFE SA and Flinders University and couples them with global companies such as Zeiss as well as Sage Automation. The Lot 14 Innovation District, which has recently been created in South Australia, is also home to the Australian Space Agency. And as a result of the Australian Space Agency being located in South Australia, there are more than 100 companies that are active within the space startups system that are looking to employ more than 1,000 additional workers in the coming years as well.
So that would also be a big, big help to all the international students who are coming or planning to study in Adelaide as well. And I'm sure all these motives will be fulfilled through your association with Shark Tank Nepal as well. So Andrew, thank you very much for sparing some time from your very busy schedule in your visit in Nepal. We'd like to thank you and wish you all the very best for all your future endeavours.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.